Okay, welcome back, folks. Today we're going to showcase a battle which is a lot different from the battles that I've shown on the channel so far. Most of the battles I've shown is like, flashy maneuvers, blitzkriegs, fast wins here, there, encirclements and whatnot. What we're going to show here is a slow, methodical battle. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. In War of Dots, it really does come down to just having a few advantages that will give you the decisive edge that will win you the game. And that's what's going to happen here. Our opponent here, blue, I'm the red player. Our blue opponent is a very passive, defensive kind of guy, and he has a strat. I've seen other people pull this off, and I've actually pulled it off myself in my very first video, actually, when I was studying how the logistics in the game works. I finally came to the conclusion of how you can feint an enemy to push forward towards your city and then overextend the supply lines. But of course, that's not exactly how the game mechanics work. It's just that your city, if they're closer to your city, you have far more power projection, and therefore you can easily encircle the enemy units once they get closer to your city. And this is what he's going to do. He's actually going to pull his forces from the north and south towards his main frontline cities. And what I'm going to do is that I'm not going to quite fall for it. I almost make a mistake in the southern flank, which is where the main battle is going to be decided. The entire battle is about to be decided in just this piece of real estate right here in the south. But we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, that's what he's going to try to do. He's going to retreat all his forces and he's trying to bait me into an attack. He's trying to give me the false sense of security that I've got more territory, I have the initiative, I should attack. But I'm not going to fall for it. So my game plan right now is trying to figure out where am I going to start my offensive. And I decide very early that I'm going to start my offensive in the south here. Now I'm going to utilize the plains area because there's a lot of plains here in the back, especially once I make a breakthrough trying to get into his back line here. It's all plains. I'm going to build a tank first. I was initially intending to build a couple tanks, but what you're going to see here is that I only build one extra tank and two extra light infantry, and that's it. That's all I need to get myself a decisive advantage in the south and basically win the game. But we'll get to that in a second. So now he's pulling his forces back. He's trying to get nearer to the city here, and you will see the efficacy of his strategy of withdrawing and trying to feint an opponent forward to overextend. But what I create here is I haven't quite seen anyone talk about this before, so I'm going to coin the term here. I'm going to use a Logi unit, a logistics unit. And basically it's a unit that you deploy when you're extending out on an offensive deep into enemy lines. It's a unit that you keep in reserve to keep your own supply line supplied. All right. And it's got nothing to do with actual supply, because I mentioned in my previous videos, there is no real supply lines, quote unquote, going from your cities to your troops or from the enemy cities to their troops. It's all about power projection. It's a hidden modifier that the units exert, and of course the cities exert on the map that draws the front line, the black line on the map. So we're gonna be experimenting with that. I'm gonna show you what I do here that basically wins the game for me. So I'm gonna speed up the replay here because it's a lot of waiting. We're basically both building up troops at this point. I've already built my first tank unit, and this guy is basically gonna win me the game, kind of. And now we're floating some more funds. We're gonna build a couple more light units. Yep. Okay, I build one here. He builds a tank unit. I actually wasn't quite sure what his main game plan was. This is the first time that I'm actually watching the replay. I only just finished playing this match, so I'm gonna be learning some stuff myself. So he's built a tank unit there. I built a tank unit. I built my first light infantry unit over here and a second one over here. My idea behind this guy here is that I want to solidify my northern flank. Okay, some moves are happening in the south now. He's fall back, and what I see here is that I'm thinking to myself, if I want to engage, force an engagement, I want to be on the plains with my tanks, so I'm going to push over to here. This was kind of a mistake because I can already see he's got more units than me. And here, this is what I'm talking about. You can see that the power projection of his city, I've overextended too far. I'm at threat of being encircled. So I've got to withdraw right now. Yeah, so this doesn't quite work out. But I'm at no threat of like, losing or anything. It was only just leaving outside our zone influence and moving into his playing field. But we just pull back to the previous front line, the backup line, the defensive line, and we're just holding. It's still three tanks, his three tanks, and he's got an advantage of two extra and a reserve light unit. But we're beginning to maneuver the rest of our reserves in. So I've taken the two units that I've built. I left them there, but I took the units that were supposed to, be on guard on station on cities. I just took them out instead, and I'm moving forward here. I completely forgot that there's a mountain here, so this guy I'm gonna need to re-micro. And now the fights are going on. So he's attacking, he's depleting his morale, he's taking more damage than I am. So I've got good trades going on here. Got my first few units to cycle in now. My new tank unit I'm deploying. It's not fully healed up, but the battle's already begun. We're committing our forces, so let's go get it. Now you're gonna see a lot, and I mean a lot of cycling. It's gonna be done on my side. All these units here that's in the south, so from this city here to the capital and everything to the south in between, is gonna be cycled into this southern front here. He is now maneuvering his own reserves from the north side. And what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be pulling forces from the north here, my reserve units. I'm going to be cycling them down because I pulled them far back enough that he doesn't have line of sight. So he doesn't quite know where my guys are. I actually can't quite see his reserve units either, but I'm willing to bet that since the battle's already begun in the south here and I've already committed my own main strategy around breaking through to the south with extra tanks, I'm just going to go double in on it and see what happens. So as that, reserves are now maneuvering in. So here you can see the battle of cycling going on. Yep, lots of cycling. We're going to try and replenish this tank unit that was depleted. Pull this guy off. So the way that I've learned by watching like the top level players, the way you want to cycle the units is wait till the morale depletes and then pull them out. Don't wait for the health to deplete. It doesn't quite work out here because I don't have enough reserve units. I didn't properly mobilize all my reserves to be on station in time. So I've taken quite a lot of damage and losses on my light infantry here, but that's just a mistake on my part. But we're trying to get guys in, and yeah, it's when the morale depletes. That's when you want to try to cycle the units out. So you can see here we have won the battle cycling. His three tank units are depleted heavily, far more than mine are. And it's going to come down to the light infantry now to do the damage. Oh, he builds an extra tank unit here. Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't quite see that. Nothing else happens in the north. He's deployed his tank unit that he built earlier to the north, but it's not going to come into play. I didn't quite realize that happened. It was essentially inconsequential. So now the battle is continuing. We're cycling our infantry now. Our infantry is going toe to toe with his tanks. We can afford to do this because he's low on morale, he's low on health. Our guys are fresh from cycling from the cities. And yeah, we have a massive advantage. You just look at the morale bars. He's all basically depleted. He's brought in reserves now, but when you compare our tanks to his tanks, yeah, so long as we can keep them on the plains tiles and make the push, then we're going to be good. So I'm going to shift the camera view just a little bit over here. Oh, that's not good. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to speed up the replay. Yep, battle's going on. And okay, right here, this is his plan. He's trying to feint us in here into encirclement. Because remember, as before, right about here is where our power projection basically fails. And he actually does manage to encircle me. I make a mistake with my micro. It's not that I didn't know, it's just that I wasn't quite capable of executing what I wanted to do. But okay, there we go. So there's the encirclement. And this is what I call the Logi unit. It's going to come into play here. We're going to keep one of these units, and actually at one point we're going to keep a unit that's basically almost dead. He's going to be put right here where I can tell where the encirclements are breaking, where the front line is breaking up. And this is what I call the Logi unit. All that unit's going to do is just going to sit right there to supply the Logi to make sure that we don't get encircled. And that's basically what happens here. That basically helps me win this game. On the fly, trying to strategize, figure out how to solve this problem. And that's the solution I came up with. And we can afford to do this because, as you can see, he He's got nothing. He was not able to properly cycle his units, and now he's taking massive losses. I think we just wiped out 4 units to my one. And there's going to be a fifth guy here, and there, this unit here that's almost dead. He's going to be the dedicated Logi unit. He's going to sit right here in this position and just give supply to our boys here. Of course, I'm using these terms of supply lines and logistics and all that. It's not, as I said it before, and I've said it many times, it's power projection regarding the cities and the units. It's not real supplies. But I'm going to use the terms anyway. No one, I haven't heard anyone use it before, so I'm coining that term. So here we have Logi unit. He's keeping the whole line supplied. I'm not going to cycle him out to repair him. I'm going to keep this fresh dude over here. But then I changed my mind because I realized I've got overwhelming superiority. He hasn't quite done anything drastic. I do realize that he's making a gamble now. He's making full offensives in the north and the center, but we're equal in terms of numbers. And he's attacking, I'm defending. I already have an advantage. I've got nothing to worry about. I'm not even paying attention. I do know that the attack is coming on, but I just ignore it. And there we go. We take the city. We basically won the game here. There's nothing much he can do now. Yeah, he calls it quits. And that's the game. So yeah, a slow, methodical battle and the use of Logi units in War of Dots. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.